I wanted to enjoy Steep more than anything this weekend, but Steep has no personality. The icy slopes and the granite passes you'll be skiing down, they feel hollow and featureless. Yes, there are trees, ramps, and cabins. There's a guy narrating your tutorial who sounds like a blazed up teenager on a walkie-talkie.
Great, right? You can check the footage anytime you want. Play around with the different camera angles and replay modes to jazz it up if you think it needs it.
You've got a lifeless main character who says next to nothing, blue skies and powdery snow beneath your board, but nothing feels alive and nothing has any character whatsoever. Steep is not a snowboarding game. It's a game with snowboarding in it. That's the best way I can summarize it. So here's the basic rundown of Steep. It's a free-form action sports game where you can do one of four things: snowboard, ski, paraglide, and freedive with a wingsuit. Squirrel diving with a wingsuit is exactly as you'd expected. It's moderately fun, and nothing more. Paragliding is less fun than watching paint dry. And I'm not joking, you'd have a better time pulling weeds in your front yard. So that leaves skiing and snowboarding as your primary outlet for play. Skiing, in a nutshell, it seems competent at first. Then you quickly realize that the controls fight with you every time you try to make sharp turns. As a skier myself, the physics feel off. You lose too much momentum on turns, and instead of drifting a bit while you turn, you instantly cut in that direction. And when you do cut in that direction, there goes your speed. It's a deal breaker when you can't slice into the snow, cut back, and keep your speed up without having to wrestle around with the physics of the controls. Ski controls should feel smooth and drifty, as they are when you're actually skiing. It should be like a dance, but it feels clunky and cumbersome and steep. Most people will be snowboarding, however. It's pretty decent fun at first. The controls are adequate, but some of the design features are very questionable at best. Performing tricks is far too easy, yet surprisingly random if you'll execute. For example, simply hold down the right trigger and release at the peak of a ramp and then press a button. Congratulations, your character will perform an absolutely perfect 360 flip and land like a ballerina most of the time. But at other times, nothing will happen at all. This is probably due to the fact that Steep has a hard time dealing with angles. It's all a guess if you pull off a successful jump or not. But when you don't land perfect, you'll be presented with what I believe to be the most asinine thing ever. A first-person shooter-style, near-death style animation, with a heartbeat sound and faded gray screen to boot. I have no idea who put this into the game, nor why it's here, but every time it happens you'll lose your momentum. A simple stumble animation would have done the trick here, and avoided interrupting your gameplay with this stupid system. This feeds into what's called the G-force meter, and when it depletes you'll end up face planting in the snow. The mountain itself is the showcase of the game. Ubisoft has chosen to design the entire game as a huge sprawl of a single mountain range as your playground. And there's a huge downside to this. There's no geodiversity here. Snow is snow, and there's no getting around that. But it all starts to look the same after a while. You'll pass the same stock alpine tree no matter where you go. A better approach to this would have been to design smaller, more unique mountains and connect them together via ski lifts. When you arrive at each new mountain via the lift, there could have been a small hub or a ski shop where players could chill together, maybe have some half pipes or practice courses nearby, a place for interactivity. Graphically speaking, the game looks great on a technical sense, but performance is far from optimal. There are a lot of clipping issues with the terrain topography, and often the frame rate dips when multiple players are on the screen, most likely attributed to the real-time snow physics. On a greater scale though, how Steep is packaged together and delivered to the user also makes me scratch my head. Mountain View allows players to drop in and drop out of any scenario, challenge, or discovery point, and also gives you the option to teleport instantly to your buddies. While I think this is a noble approach to designing a game with so much square footage, it does create some problems. First, it discounts the open free ride nature of the game, since you can essentially teleport all over the map on a whim. Thus, you can lose sight of that sense of discovery when fast travel is so readily encouraged. This is countered by what the game calls points of interest or discovery, areas that are unmapped and waiting for you to find them during free riding, but because fast travel locations are so abundant, these areas will only attract completionists. Something is missing in Steep. Maybe it's the mountain view, the collect-a-thong discovery breadcrumb trail, or the teleport everywhere design that rubs me the wrong way. Perhaps it's the fact that Steep has no soul. I can't pin it down, but I can tell you it's more fun to think about playing Steep than to actually play the game. but you can try out the Steep beta yourself, or wait to pick it up for $60 on December 2nd, which I do not recommend, nor do I feel like the game is worth even half that amount. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Keep an eye out for another giveaway in the next couple days. Gonna have an announcement on my Twitter, so make sure you follow me over there. And have a kick-ass day, dudes.